So this is what I was talking about earlier. I have started stripping this down just because why not, but this is what I'm looking at for a an old friend. This bike was damaged by a pedal bike who jumped a red light and slammed into my mate. This would have been 7 or 8 years ago, and actually did enough damage to take this bike off the road for all that time. Now the owner has been fighting his insurance company and all insurance companies for 7 or 8 years now, but ultimately he's lost out massively. His insurance company didn't pay out, and it was a pedal bike, guys. You know, they found the guy, the police found the guy, then he disappeared, then they found him, then he disappeared. Literally, the bike's been off the road for 7 to 8 years now. Ivan's not had a bike, and actually he screwed himself over by not continuing to start this up in some ways. Here's the issues. This is what so the bike's come in at this angle. The bike's hit here, and what it's done is, there was a panel here, and the panel is kind of okay. Bike's hit here, and somehow it's bent this radiator tube. You see that? It's bent and squashed in. So it needs a new radiator. It's broke this indicator, and actually the rear of the bike slung around, and the pedal hit there. Okay, so front's hit here and damaged the radiator and this bit. Swung around, dented there, but the biggest issue isn't the dent there, you see. The biggest issue is the impact has created a crack on the downpipe there. So what appears to be a stupid little amount of damage from a pedal bike has ended up costing hundreds, let's be honest. New exhaust, new downpipes, new side panel if you're being fussy, new indicator, new radiator. And the other thing that I remember was that somehow this fork seal had gone nuts. I mean, look at it. I mean, look, it's dripping wet. So somehow, as part of this crash, this fork has taken some sort of hammering. I mean, you can see it. Look, it's dripped down. And it wasn't like that, because I knew this bike inside out. And it wasn't like that beforehand, because I remember looking at it. It's all over the discs. So Ivan's at a point now where he's been fighting and waiting for 7 years. This has been sitting in the garage for 7 years. He has not got any payout. He's screwed. So I've said to him, look, Ivan, this could still be worth £1,500 if you got it done up. It's not a category. If you did all the right bits of work to it, it could, it's a 2002 600F. It's one of the last ones they made. They're still quite popular. It could be worth £1,500. So he's let me pull it out. Now he's quite precious about his stuff, and that's not, I don't mean, and that's not rude. I'm not saying that in a rude way, but he's precious about his stuff. He likes things to be mint and immaculate. And I'm saying, well, let's just do the bare minimum to get this back on the road and sell it on, so you've at least got a few pennies and it's not rotting away. And I've been trying to convince him to do this for maybe 5 years. So him letting me pull it out now and do this is great. And he's gone, which I do prefer that with some cases. I do prefer, disappear, let me kind of hammer away and get on with things. Again, it's not a rude thing, it's just that I can do more when I'm really focused. So we treat this like any other bike. Get the battery off, throw it on charge. It's highly unlikely the battery's going to charge up, but let's do it anyway because it might. You just never know. I myself bridged the immobiliser a few years back for him, and yeah. So get the battery off, put it on charge. I'm going to get the battery off, put it on charge. I'm going to bring the car up, and then I'm going to go through the simple jobs, which is drain the fuel tank, put a bit of fresh fuel in there, put some fuel cleaner in there. This is injection. See if we can at least get it started up and running, at least. That would be the most ideal situation at this stage. It might just clean itself out enough to be okay on the button. So that's the next steps. Battery out, on charge, car up for the jump leads, drain the fuel tank, see if we can get something out of this. So this is what I've pulled out. What I would really do on this bike if it was mine is I'd be taking it apart, tank off fully, running it on some fresh fluid through the separate container to clean out the fuel pipes and the pump and so on and so on. But because I maybe 3 years ago I did some of this work, I'm hoping that just putting some fresh fuel in with a trickle of cleaner will get through this time. I'm hoping it's kind of worked its way through. I did exactly that last time. Like this fuel, for example, will have some version of fuel injection cleaner in it. But look, you can see it's got particles in it. It's not shocking. It doesn't smell too varnishy yet, but of course it isn't good. So I'm going to put all of the fresh fuel in. There's 5 litres over there. Mix it up a bit of cleaner in it, and then I'm just going to keep spinning it over on the car battery in hope that it does something. I mean, last time it wouldn't. At no point did it run off its own fuel system. I had to use sprays and stuff. But again, I'm hoping I did some work. Probably about 3 years back, it was me and Jake were just bored and we played with it. So it may have helped. Let's see. So all I've done is taken 6 litres of old fuel out, put in 5 litres, and I'm just going to kind of see if I can spin it through. Last time, 3 years ago, it would start with a bit of spray going through the airbox, but it wouldn't start generally. I see no reason why it's changed, unless it kind of did just squeeze itself out and clean itself out. So I'm not really expecting it to start, but if it does, that would be stunning. That's exactly what happened last time. I think I'm going to lift the tank a little bit, see if I can find the air filter, spray in a touch just to see if we can somehow clear it through by firing it. So in some ways it's quite a complex system, this. I can't see a pump. It looks like it's internal. It looks like it comes into the fuel rail. Looks like it trickles down into the fuel rail unless there's an internal pump. Second line, I'm not sure what the second line is, possibly reserve, but then there isn't a reserve button or anything, so I'm not sure what's going on here. The airbox is sealed except for the ram air, so we might be able to get a bit of starting fluid through the ram air here into the tank, which may or may not help. I'm going to try a little bit, because if I can get it running at all, I might be able to keep it running and it just kind of clean itself through. So I'm going to try that, spraying a little bit through the ram air, kicking it up again and seeing if we get lucky. So I've sprayed a little in, but I'll try and spray some while kicking it over. I think we know we've got an engine here that's okay, but until we can clear out all of the fuel lines and make sure fuel's flowing, there really is nothing we can do. You heard it start there on the spray alone. We just need to make sure there's fuel going in. So I think I need to strip it down a little bit. The tank's really complex. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, but I'll work it out. I need to get a jerry can ready in case the fuel comes straight back out, or actually I'm going to suck it out through the top again to minimise spill. So it's a bit more complex of a system than I'm used to. It's using these Piaggio system fuel lines. I've just cleaned this one out because this one wasn't flowing earlier. This one was flowing, and that's I don't know what the two feeds are for. One comes to the fuel rail down here, and then one goes through to here, which it looks like a kind of suction. I don't get this second part, if I'm being honest. That one was very much free flow, so it free flows down here to here. Still in the fuel rail, but I just don't really know. I feel like the other one is the main one. I think, again, I don't really know what I'm doing here, so I think I'm going to have to pop the airbox off. Check out, see if I can spray through. I mean, I can spray through the fuel rail here, but that's not going to help it get through the injectors. With the fuel box, with the airbox off, if I spray through there and maybe put some fuel down through here. But then, saying that, I think there probably was fuel down there. It's really, like I said, complex, this one. So I'm gonna carry on for a bit, but I'm not quite sure. This is different to what I'm used to. It's injectors. I think you can pop the injectors off, and I think you can put power through them and clean them. I might have to do that. It's not something I've done before, but I think they open up if you put 12 volts to them. So I might need to look at that. Basically, just see what we can do here. We heard it start through a spray. We just need the fuel to be going through. So here we are. Again, I don't particularly know what I'm doing here, guys. Just kind of trying my luck at this stage, really. Does this have a manual choke? What? I don't really know what does what here. Obviously the butterfly valves. I don't know what they do. And then the fuel rail, and then of course the actual injectors. So I think best to pop the rail off, and it should just be 1, 2, 3. Are there any underneath? It might all come off in one hit, because well, you can't get the injector wiring too wrong because they're in a line, look. But I don't know. Let me see, let me pop them off and see what we're looking at. It could just be that some fresh fuel in that rail could be enough. I could, you know, if you put a big pipe on here and like something like this, look. If I shove that on all the way, tip some fuel in, it could be that is enough. Let me see, I'm not sure yet. What I want to do, and I could be way off the ball here, is I want to spray through the fuel rail carb cleaner while trying to start it to see if it sucks it through the injectors. I'm completely making this up. So you can kind of see what my theory was there. I've sprayed through the fuel rail. Hopefully that trickled down into the injectors, and when I fired it up, they may have opened. Now I'm thinking if I take this rail off and then do the same thing, I might be able to spray through to clean them out. And if that's the case, then what would be left is just making sure, because this is a fuel injection system, so there should be a high pressure pump, and I guess it's got to be here. I don't know what's powering it, but it has to be this, really, doesn't it? I think this is the fuel gauge. Does it have a gauge? I think that's the fuel gauge, so I don't know where the high pressure is coming from at this stage. Obviously I don't know if it's working. I just kind of don't know. But let me pop this rail off, see if I can power it through, see if I can get any fluids through the injectors. Now I know this isn't a pressurized system, but I just want some fuel down here to see if it kicks out anything. That one's kicking out a little. Right, I need a better system here. Look, they're clearing out. Can you guys see that? They're clearing out, look. See it? They weren't a minute ago. So I'll chuck the airbox back on and everything, and the tank, and we'll see how lucky we've got. Just about to fire up and we get random rain. I'm going to pour in the fuel and we're going to fire it up. I mean, from what I've seen so far, it should actually just start, I think. We saw the injectors clean out, didn't we? At first nothing was coming out at all. It took a couple of minutes, it took a lot of tries, some cleaner going through, some fresh fuel going through, and then it cleaned them out. So as long as the fuel is flowing and it's doing its thing from the top end, it should actually fire up. Times. You know, there were little bits of fuel coming through. I need to find out what the fuel pump system is on this. It's possibly in the tank. I don't hear it prime or anything, so I don't know. What I possibly should have done was taken the tank off, pulled all that out and cleaned it, but it didn't look like a pump to me. I'm going to get online and have a little look out of curiosity. So I think that's it for today. I just looked up fuel pump, and that was a fuel pump at the bottom of the tank. Now it's possible that I can pull that out and do some sort of repair, but it's unlikely. Second-hand ones are 160 quid. And obviously it's a fuel injected system, so that's the only way it's going to run, really. The sad truth is this bike's going to cost hundreds to put back on the road. I mean, I would buy it for 300 or 400 quid and do it myself, but even then it's going to cost me hundreds. 160 for the fuel pump, 180 for the radiator, down pipes, technically an exhaust, but that's kind of okay. Tyres have been sitting for 8 years. Honestly, fork seals are gone. It's hundreds and hundreds. Yeah, I mean, we might get lucky. We might be able to clean out that fuel pump and save 180 quid. I'll try tomorrow out of kind of curiosity. I'll give it a shot. Or Thursday even, depending on how much time I've got. But yeah, it needs to be doing its basics, you know. What I should have done was pop the bottom pipe off and turn it over and seen if it was pushing out fuel at a high pressure, but it probably wouldn't be. So what I mean is, if I took this knuckle off here, if I took this knuckle off here and turned the key over, should it spray? I'm sure it probably would. I think for now this is going in the garage, and we'll look at what's next in a couple of days for that one.